Adventure mean to you? When you think about adventure, what does it mean in your mind?
Well, you asked me that earlier, and I've kind of been thinking about it, and I still don't quite have an answer. For years, I've just kind of, lived my life with the attitude of living, not just surviving life.
Right? If you ain't
And
living, you're dying.
and I guess that has made me an adventurous soul.
Hmm.
But I never once thought I'm going on an adventure or here, let me seek out adventure.
You've never thought that?
No, not really.
Huh. I can't relate to that. Ever since I was a kid, uh, whether it was on the river or just riding my bicycle with my friends, it was all adventure. And that was what the allure was. You know, there's no parents here. I can do whatever I want within reason, of course. There's nobody breathing down my neck. I can go do whatever I want. It's an adventure.
Yeah, I mean, and that's very true. It's just, it was never how my mind framed it. I mean,
Ah,
growing up, I did shooting competitions, and for a lot of those, we're often other places and in kind of, in the woods where we get to go wander and adventure with or without parent supervision. And looking back on it, then I had a childhood full of adventure for that reason. But at the time, it was just life. That's just what we did. My family didn't really go on vacations. We went to shooting competitions.
that's an adventure in
So
itself, isn't it?
exactly, they
Even
are adventures. I just never thought of them that way.
ah, every day I leave the house, no matter what I'm doing, could very well turn into an adventure because it means different things to everyone. In fact, a good example was when my grandfather was still alive. It was declining mentally, and you could kind of tell. But every time he left the house, he didn't know where he would end up.
It was very much an adventure for him.
Yeah, I remember I was in Denton one day on some side street in the middle of nowhere, um, completely at random that day, and I saw my grandfather drive by in his white Oldsmobile station wagon, and I thought, "What the hell is Paul doing in Denton?" And I called him later that day. I said, "I saw you up in Denton today," and he goes, "Yeah." I said, "What happened? How'd you wind up out in Denton?" He goes, I'm not sure. It was off the highway. It was on the access road, and I was facing the highway, and he drove through the intersection. I was going the opposite direction. I had a work call or
Yeah.
something to do, but he said, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, in by definition, he was on an adventure. He may not have realized it, but I mean, he was. He quit driving shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I can imagine.
When we think of adventure, our minds often drift to images of grand expeditions, scaling towering mountains, or skydiving, or scuba diving into the depths of the ocean. But adventure is not confined strictly to the physical realm of action, right?
No, not at all.
It could be found in the pages of a book.
Yes, very
It
much
could
so.
be the challenge of learning a new skill or the courage it takes to start over in a new city. At its core, adventure is about stepping outside of our comfort zones and embracing the unknown.
Yes.
That is, in my opinion, in my definition, that is what step outside your comfort zone and do something you've never done, or even do something you've done before, but maybe you're not 100% comfortable with it. The adventure is here. It's in your heart. It's in your mind.
Yes.
It means different things to different people, if you will. Let's start by defining adventure. The word itself stems from the Latin adventura, meaning a thing to happen. It signifies the anticipation and excitement of future possibilities. Adventure involves risk, uncertainty, and the potential for discovery. It's the pursuit of experiences that push our boundaries and challenge our perceptions. It really could be everything and anything. It's a matter of perspective.
Yes.
We've had countless call-in guests in the show who recount various different adventures, whether it's mountain climbing or skydiving or like what we do, scuba diving. But it doesn't mean that to everyone.
No, I mean, to some people, an adventure is just the next town over.
Right.
Especially, I mean, for millennia, an
Hmm.
adventure was the next town over.
That's right. Even in biblical times. I
Yes.
mean, you rode donkeys, right?
Hmm.
Or camels, if you will. They probably had
A lot
horses
of
back then,
walking.
but I wasn't there, so I don't know. Yeah, can you imagine what high quality their sandals had to be? I bet you they
No.
lasted longer than the ones from Walmart do today.
Well, the ones from Walmart, yes, this is definitely true.
Hmm.
But what class you are or were depended on how good your shoes were, or if you even had them.
Right.
Most people just were used to walking without shoes.
That would have sucked. Can you imagine being without shoes completely?
Yeah, definitely in extreme temperatures with really hot or really cold. That sounds absolutely horrible. As far as just walking through the woods, I grew up doing that. I loved just going and walking, and it didn't matter stones, stickers, whatever. As long as you are pretty flat footed, then it doesn't stick in it too bad.
I remember when I was a kid, I was in the woods with my brother. And it was funny because I remember my brother would always walk to this little spot where we would go. And I was always on rollerblades because I loved rollerblading. Rollerblading was my thing. I used to get kicked out of the skating rink every weekend for going too fast.
Oh, I was about
But
to
they
be
let
like, you fighting or what?
no, 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 no,
Going
just
too
going too
fast.
fast. I like going fast. I always have. But my mom would send us down there to pick blackberries,
Mhm.
and we'd bring home a like a gallon jug, milk jug full of blackberries, and she'd make us a blackberry pie.
Oh yeah,
Brand new, fresh, yummy. Oh, that's the good stuff right there.
definitely.
But I remember walking through the woods with my brother, and of course, on rollerblades, you're walking through the woods on rollerblades,
Yeah.
right? Because I didn't bring extra shoes with me, and I wasn't going to carry my rollerblades around my neck. But I asked him how he managed to keep from sinking in the mud because he's a much larger fella than I was. Uh, Nuke said he was old school on the quads. That must be Jeff out in Australia because he said, "Morning, mate." But anyway, Stefan laid it out for me. He made it very clear. He took a stick and he dropped it on the mud and nothing happened. Then he took another stick and he poked it into the mud. It's a matter of physics. See, if you
Yes.
walk in on your heel, you're gonna make a mess. You're gonna get stuck in the mud. But if you go flat footed as you walk through it,
Yeah. Then you just
surface
stay right
area,
on top.
yeah.
Same theory with bed of nails.
Do what?
Same theory with bed of nails. When people lay on or walk on the bed of nails,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reason it works is because they can distribute their weight.
Mm-hmm. Exact same thing. One of the most profound aspects of adventure is its ability to transform us. When we venture into the unknown, we often encounter challenges that test our limits. And that's what it's all about, is to go out and test yourself.
Hmm.
These challenges, whether physical, mental, or emotional, require us to adapt and grow. Adventure fosters resilience, creativity, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
That's
Because
true.
when we go out, we experience things we may not have ever experienced before. Um, a good example would be when I was in East Texas with my best friend's dad years ago. There was one bird out there in the woods, and I never found out what kind of bird it was, but his chirp always sounded like the word Farino, and it was Farino over and over and over again. But now I hear it every now and then in my adult years, and it reminds me of the adventures I had as a kid.
It's probably a snipe.
Yeah, snipe season just opened.
Oh, did it?
Have you been snipe hunting?
Not this year.
Not this
Not
year.
not this year. No.
Ah, okay.
I didn't realize that this was the time that the season
Yeah,
opened. So yeah,
there's a
open season on snipe right now.
that's right. There's a bag limit of 4 snipes per person, and you can only use burlap and pillowcases to catch them with. Used to be you could beat the
Of
brush.
course.
Used to be you could beat the brush with a big stick. They don't let you beat the brush now because now it's taking out endangered plants. So
Oh,
they don't
okay.
let you beat the brush anymore with a big stick. You gotta,
Now
you,
it's bag only.
yeah. It's feet only. Uh, Jeff said he wants to try snipe one day. It's a really tasty bird. They're ugly as sin, but they're tasty, and they actually nest on the ground. They don't roost in the trees at all. I've never seen a snipe in a tree.
It's true. I haven't either.
But they are a goofy looking bird, and they're easy to catch. They're so stupid. They're so stupid. You just beat the brush and say, "Here, snipes. Here, snipes," and you flush them down to the other person at the other end of the field that's got the bag holding open. Then you
They
just
fly right in.
well, they don't fly. That's the point.
Well, I mean, they more
They're a
hop.
flightless bird.
It's a glide.
No, Jeff, you can't use a gun for snipes. You're not allowed to use a gun for snipes. Snipes have to be taken alive and whole. That's the rule. We ought to bring him out here and experience snipe hunting with him. I think he'd have a good time.
Definitely.
Jeff, you have an open invite to Texas anytime you want to come out to the woods with us and go on a snipe hunt. We'd be happy to take you. It'd be a blast, man. You'd have so much fun. And then you could go home and tell all your mates back home that you went on a real Texas snipe hunt. It'd be great. I went snipe hunting once when I was a kid. Only once. But it was fun. And we had he said he'll get over here one day.
It's an exciting time for sure.
I think we caught 8 snipes that night. It was 4 or 5 of us out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we had a good meal the next day.
Plenty to eat, but nowhere near the bag limit.
What's that?
Said plenty to eat, but nowhere near the bag limit. It works out.
Yeah, you don't want to take too much.
Exactly.
You don't want to take more than you're going to eat.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Just kind of failed.
That's right. Dove season's coming up too on September 1st.
Yes.
You've known me long.
You've
you've known me long enough to know that few things take precedence over the opening day of dove season. Whether
Maybe
it be
this year, neither of us will be injured.
That would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
It would.
I would love to not be injured for dove season. Last year I had 7 splinters in my foot. Made it really hard to walk around on uneven territory. I didn't enjoy it at all. I still did it. I was still there. I'm not going to miss opening day for anything, no matter how much pain I'm in. But it sucked. It hurt like hell.
Oh, yeah. I went out there with you once last year, just briefly.
Well, we have another place to hunt
I'm
in
excited.
Saginaw. It's a lot closer, and there's more birds.
I like both of those things.
I do too. I can't wait. I'm getting both of my shotguns tuned up this month. I'm going to have a trigger job done on one of them. I'm going to put in some new O-rings on the Remington 1100 and get it. Oh, yeah. It's going to fire like it's brand new, and I can't wait.
I just need to get mine out and clean it.
Huh?
I just need to get mine out and clean it. Not going to do anything fancy to it. Just clean it.
Jeff, this is Diana. She's my lead diver, and she's my co-host on the show. Have a look at the camera. I think we're on that one.
Oh, yeah, we're on that one.
Yeah, Jeff has never seen you on the show before. I guess he doesn't like our show that much. I guess he doesn't tune in often enough to know who you are, even though you're here almost every week.
Almost.
I've been out of the studio for a little while. I've been adventuring myself.
We've been doing a lot lately.
We have. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing?
A whole lot of recoveries.
Talk about some of them. You've been a busy lady since the beginning of the month.
Yeah, there was one day that I managed to do 3 recoveries in 3 different lakes.
Which one? Which lakes were they?
I started my day with Louisville and then came back.
What did you recover in Louisville?
For Louisville, it was a wallet, actually.
I remember that one.
So it was a wallet right off of a dock. They actually filmed me do it, and I managed. It was definitely less than 5 minutes. I think it was under 2 minutes for me to find that wallet. The second one was back at just kind of our home base, Eagle Mountain Lake. And what was that one? Oh, wait, no, that was a different day. Sorry, different day. Wallet was not at the beginning.
They're all starting to run together, aren't they?
Yeah, when you're doing 3+ in a day, those days start to run together.
Wait till you do 6 or 7.
Yeah. No, the first one at Louisville was the off of the guy's boat. What was it? A fender or something off of the guy's boat?
A fender?
I don't know.
It wasn't a fender. Those float.
Okay, so it wasn't a fender, but it was something that fell off of that guy's boat.
Oh, it was a vent.
Vent.
Yes, it was an exhaust vent.
Okay.
And the manufacturer had stopped making them, and they were, obsolete as far as buying one new, and you couldn't find them used anywhere.
Oh, no. He said the chances of finding a used one were so slim.
Absolutely zero almost.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that problem before.
Yeah. So, yes, I was able to find that one. And then
straight down, right?
It fluttered a little bit. It was a larger piece, and it didn't have like holes in it. It was just one large piece of plastic. So it fluttered a good bit. I found that one probably about 5-6 foot away.
Yeah.
And then after that was the bracelet. It was the titanium bracelet.
Oh, that was an interesting job, wasn't it?
Yes, that one took me a little bit longer. It's a tiny little piece that you're looking for versus a large plastic piece of a boat. And it matters when you can't see what you're doing.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. And well, let's talk about that for a moment. I won't give you too much of a hard time about the hour it took before you came to ask for advice from the guy who started this whole shebang, but let's talk about it for a moment.
Yes.
You're hunting a titanium bracelet, which
Hmm.
can't be anything bigger than what's in the palm of your hand right here. Right?
Sure. I
Right.
wouldn't know, but yes,
Well,
I
you
guess.
know because you saw it.
Well, I mean, after I pulled it up from the bottom of the lake, I knew what I was looking for. Other than that, I was told titanium bracelet and
But you know it wasn't going to be this big, right?
well, no, it's not. It's not a
Okay.
piece of a boat. No.
So the whole idea in a job like that is to pare down your search area to the smallest area possible every time you kick your fins.
Hmm.
Now, it's a big no-no for any of my divers, our divers, to go down without fins on, but on this particular dive, I would have probably sent you down on a plumb rope with an anchor
I went
and no
down on a
fins.
plumb rope 3 different times.
No, no,
It
no.
helps when they put the plumb rope in the right
I'm
place.
not talking about a piece of twine with a fishing sinker on it. I'm talking about an anchor on a rope
I have
so
that.
that you could pull yourself up and maintain your ascent rate, the correct ascent rate,
Hmm.
as told to you by the computer in your vision, right?
Yes.
I would probably have sent you down on that dive without fins,
Hmm.
even though that's a huge no no. You're over 1,000 dives now, Diana. You've done over 1,000 dives in a year, which is absolutely incredible. I feel
Definitely.
like you are capable of going down without fins now, even though I don't usually let anyone do that. But I feel like you're capable enough to be able to get down and get back up, knowing what you need to know to keep from hurting yourself underwater. And that's the
Yeah.
most important thing because every dive that we come back from, whether we were successful in finding whatever we were after or not, if we come back from a dive, we're successful. That's
Yes.
the important thing.
And we did do that on the Arlington salvage job. That one I did without flippers because I was only in about 7 foot of water. But I really didn't like it, honestly.
Right,
I came
because
back from that job saying, like, I mean, I know why. I always knew why you said don't do it, but now I even more agree with I don't even want to do it because it's just hard to get around.
right, because your muscle memory has you kicking your feet and nothing happens.
Yeah,
It's kind of
very
pointless.
little.
All you have to do on those dives is just kind of pull yourself around.
Yes.
Keep your feet from moving because it'll stir up the gunk, right?
Hmm.
And just use your arms, pull yourself around a little bit. I like to find landmarks underwater, like a beer can or a bottle or a particular branch, or sometimes you'll even find a wagon or a dolly.
Yeah.
But those things take a
That
mental
one was a
note.
chair.
Huh?
That one was the chair. That
Oh, yes. There
that
was
dive is
the,
where I've kept finding the pole for the chair.
yeah. So that's a landmark. You can
Yes.
use that to orient yourself underwater and point yourself in the right direction. You, of course, you have a heads up display compass now.
Hmm.
You didn't have that before. You had a console computer with a compass that didn't work. But we're
Yes.
past that, aren't we? You did have analog gauges at one time, right?
Yes, we started off with the analog, or yeah. Um, I think
You
I
started
started off with a
off
computer, and
you
then
started
I
off with
tried to
the
get a new
Oceanic Pro Plus 2 dive computer.
yeah, and then we
You
tried to get the
killed it.
batteries
You
replaced.
killed that,
I did not.
and then you
No,
went to
I went
the
to get a new battery, and the inside of it had been corroded for so many years that the guy was just like, I mean, you can try, but this is probably not gonna work.
right.
That was long before I had it, is when that got corroded.
I don't know because I used it for a number of years before I got my heads up display, and even before I got that other one that I gave you. I used that one for a long time. I mean, granted, you couldn't see it below 20 feet deep, but get up to 20 and check everything,
Mhm.
and you'd be okay.
I mean, it was not new corrosion. That's a fact. I mean, it was possibly still making a connection while it was also corroded, but that was not new corrosion.
So you're saying it had one leg left and it was on it?
Yes. Yes, that is definitely what we found whenever I went up there.
Well, it's a good thing you never tried to use it beyond that. Chase still has it. I know he said he's going to try and fix it, but I don't know. Chase, if you're listening, I need those 18 pairs of sunglasses back from 3 summers ago when you said you'd clean them up with vinegar and I never saw them again. They're probably in a bucket somewhere underneath a hatch on his boat, untouched and unvinegared. But that's all right. It's not like we have any shortage of sunglasses, is it?
Nope, we are constantly pulling up more.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about another dive you did since the beginning of July.
Well, the third one that day was actually kind of fun. It was just a cell phone dive, but it was in a what was it? In a building. Um, so it was actually on a dock. You had to walk out, and it looked like a shed on this dock.
Oh, that was the fishing barge dive.
Okay, yeah,
out
fishing.
at Lake
Yeah,
Weatherford.
yeah. So I had to go into a room with just a giant hole in the floor that I guess people use for fishing.
Yep.
But it was very eerie. You're so
It
used
is
to
eerie.
having just all of the normal noises, having wind, having birds. You're just so used to having noises, and then
Mhm.
you're just in this perfectly quiet room with water that is also not moving. You're used to having waves. You're used to having fish or whatever, plopping the water, making little waves, and it was just eerily silent. The water, the air, but it was one of the clearer dives that I've done. I was
Those are
pleasantly
nice, aren't they?
surprised by how clear Lake Weatherford is.
Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to dive there, never got a chance to. Every time I drive over that lake when I'm headed out to the hunting place, the home place, the old home place to do
Mhm.
dove season, to hunt dove, I always look at it longingly, like I wish I could dive there one day. And the only thing that stops me from diving there is having time to do it.
Time. Yep.
And to be honest, um, I don't go diving for fun. I don't
No, we
think I've
really
ever been
don't.
diving for fun. If
Oh
I'm
yeah, people ask me, what was your, where's the coolest place you've been? And I'm like, I work.
Lake Weatherford.
Probably not. Well, maybe it was pretty cool down there.
What was the temperature? Do you remember? Oh,
But
let me on your dive computer. If you do one click toward you on
mhm.
your button, it'll tell you the water temperature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering how to. You've mentioned before that it does temperature, but I
Mhm.
hadn't taken the time to figure out how.
Well, it's not
So
on your main screen. It's on
exactly.
the second screen.
Yeah, I've tried going from the main screen, but by just like pressing it, not by turning it. Sounds like a
Right.
bop it.
Jeff, that's good to change the dog's water bowl, especially in down under where it gets so hot. The dogs are drinking hot water and it doesn't help anything. But we're happy to have you back. So, what do you do the next day?
The next day I rested.
You rested.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes very seldom during the summer, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I was definitely diving for several days solid, and I think it was just coincidentally that we didn't. I got everything knocked out that day, and we didn't have much the next day. And then the most recent one was the anchors out at Possum Kingdom.
Tell me about that. It's wintertime in Australia and it's cold, 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 cold.
Ooh.
I wish it was wintertime here.
It's the opposite here right now.
You and Junior are going to be busy this winter.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Why? How?
because I don't want to do it.
Oh, is that different from last winter?
Yes, I have a dry suit that fits this winter.
So you have one. You're just not.
No,
You're just
I'll
not
be
gonna.
there and I'll be underwater and I'll be working, but I don't want to. Okay,
Yeah, I don't
anyway,
think any of us want to be in the cold.
Possum Kingdom is a different dive entirely than what we typically are used to. And I've been telling you for the last month, I cannot wait for you to get out here
Get
and
one of
dive.
those. Yep.
And it just happened that I was out of town. The dive came in. Diana was available and on call. And so tell us what happened. Take it away.
So yeah, we got called out for a couple of boat anchors. One they lost recently on the 4th of July, and one had been a little further back.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that they lost on the 4th of July, they had general GPS location, not
Was that
exact.
the big one or the little one?
I guess the big one, just
The expensive
the
one.
expensive one. Yes,
Yeah.
that they lost more recently.
So those
Yeah, the one
anchors,
was
some of
a
those anchors get
Sentimental, I believe.
ridiculously expensive.
I
This happened to be one of the ridiculously expensive anchors.
I heard it was a several $1,000 anchor.
Mm-hmm.
But if you saw their boats, you would understand.
I spoke to her this morning,
Oh yeah.
and she was telling me that you were out on the 44-foot boat,
Mm-hmm.
and then her and her husband have a 40-foot boat.
Yeah, they were docked right next to each other. So,
Are these cabin cruisers like mine, or are they cigarette boats? What are they?
Um, you'll have to ask Junior. He knows more about what type of boat it was.
Well, did
but
it have a cabin with
it
air
was a
conditioning?
they did have a cabin.
Okay.
I didn't go in it, but it did have a cabin underneath because they brought some like coolers and stuff out of it.
Right on.
But it was a extremely fast boat with I think 3 motors on it.
3 outboard engines.
I think so.
Yeah.
So we
Probably
were
a
just
cigarette boat.
cruising along.
I bet. Loud too, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. I guess that was actually the fastest boat I've ever been on. So that was just kind of fun. It was. Oh, it is.
Oh, it is already time.
segment.
Wow, it's going quick, isn't it? We'll be back here in just a few minutes. We're going to do a commercial, and we'll get right back.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820. Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
JoCo Community Radio. Listen live at jococommunityradio.com.
Born to be wild.
I really feel like I was born to be wild. I don't. Your microphone's off because I have to read a commercial, but I just wanted to say that out loud. I feel like I was born to be wild. I'm here to be wild. NTX Radio, formerly JoCo Community Radio, is a member of EMG, a radio and podcast collective proudly serving all of North Texas. We are live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network and on our station app. Download it for free. Check out our lineup and more at ntxradio.com. We thank our valued partners in helping us amplify the voices of North Texas. Be sure to connect with Todd Hurd and Associates, attorneys at law, for all your civil law needs at texasattorneylaw.com, and use code JOCO2024 for 25% off your first order at thetiffy.com. Processing credit cards? Join the Swipe Nation today and save on processing fees at swipenationusa.com. Locally owned and operated, and are you ready to deliver the right message to the right people at the right time? Reach out to us at ntxradio.com, at t.herd@ntxradio.com for advertising rates as low as $50 a month. And honestly, I'm thinking about contacting t.herd@ntxradio.com for advertising rates as low as $50 a month, because it doesn't get much better than that.
No, not at all.
I mean, $50 a month, that's
very affordable.
a cup of coffee every day.
Yes,
if I were to
pretty
buy
much,
2
yep.
cups of coffee every day, I could get some great advertising, and it would be well worth it. So adventure is not reserved for the famous or the daring. It is accessible to all of us every day, It can be as simple as taking a different route to work, trying a new cuisine, or striking up a conversation with a stranger. These small acts of adventure enrich our lives and broaden our perspectives every time we undertake one of them. Every single time.
Yeah.
You always learn something new, whether you realize it or not. And sometimes those little things that you learn become incorporated into your daily life. So tell me a little bit about how some of the things that you've learned at random have become incorporated into your dive procedure.
Oh,
Just give me a good
God.
example.
I don't know. You put me on the spot.
Well, I mean,
You
you're
didn't
on a
ask this
radio
question ahead
show.
of
You're going to
time.
get put on the spot a lot.
I don't know, but that's something that takes some thought. You got to ask me that one ahead of time.
Do I?
Yes. I'm like a deer.
It
like
could be
deer in
something as
headlights,
simple
just
as
like,
checking
what?
your fin straps to make sure they're
Okay.
not going to snap on you during a dive.
Well, I mean, there's really no way to test that they would snap.
No,
but
there
as
is.
far
If you
as,
see a rip in your fin strap,
well,
it's time for
yeah.
new fin
I mean,
straps.
well, yeah, that's true. But,
Something
but just-
simple that you learned in the course of hanging out with another diver that you now incorporate into your everyday procedure.
Always having a knife.
Hey, that's a
Handy.
good one. Having a
Um,
sharp knife is even more important.
Yes.
Because what are you going to do with a dull knife underwater?
Been there, done that.
Attract barracudas. That's right.
So I had been carrying a knife on my leg, and it got brought to my attention that there are times that you get wrapped up that you can't even reach your leg. So now I have a knife in 2 different places attached to my BCD.
Knife squared.
Yes. That are both a lot easier to reach than the leg sheath that I'd had before.
I like those leg sheaths. And when you go to the bar after a dive, they look cool.
They look
but
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have their place, if you will. They also have their not place. I won't use one anymore for that exact reason.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not a bad thing to have, but always have a backup that's handier.
Right.
Maybe,
Honestly,
I guess treat that as your backup.
honestly, I like to dive with a pocket knife in my pocket.
I started out doing that.
Yep. Because it's muscle memory. You reach
Yes.
down, the knife is right there, pull it open, flip it open with your thumb, and do what you need to do and put it away.
Oh yeah.
With a good pocket knife, I can operate it one-handed, completely underwater without ever having to worry about dropping it.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I did before I got the dive knife. Is I had my pocket knife whenever I did the cell phone recovery with the crappie dock. That was very sketchy. Cut myself free of that one a few times with a pocket knife.
Right. Well, go ahead and finish telling me about your Possum Kingdom dive real quick.
So Possum Kingdom, it was just a day full of firsts. So first time on that fast of a boat, and then even just first time in Possum Kingdom, which is a lot clearer of a lake than I'm generally used to.
A lot busier too. You got to be really careful.
Yes. Luckily, the client was really amazing about that. She made a point of saying, if any boat comes around, I'm going to yell, I'm going to scream, they're going to get away.
Well, and that comes back to touch on our dive buoy and our dive flags. Despite the fact that we use them all the time, nobody cares. Nobody knows what they are. Every year I make several different posts on Facebook about them. Give us 100 to 150 feet, etc. And no one ever does. They blast past our dive flag within sometimes 10 to 15, 20 feet.
Right.
Doing 40, 50 miles an hour like we're not even there. And the state law is 50 feet. You can't pass within another boat of 50 feet if they're sitting still.
Yeah. People really just don't know boating laws. And that's one thing that I am positive about, because there is no requirement. There's not a driver's license like a car has.
Well, there is after a certain year. If you're under 16 years, if you're 16,
if you're a child.
No. If you're born after a certain year, you have to have a boater's education course if you're going to be driving a boat.
That's new.
It's not new. It's been the rule for years, but nobody abides by it.
Okay.
Nobody abides by it, and I hate that. You and I are beyond the curve. We don't have to have that. I forget what the cutoff year is.
I had mine whenever I was in high school. I took a course.
Well, it's a lifelong thing. You don't have to do it again.
A boating certificate, so I actually do have one.
Good. Well, then why can't you drive the pontoon boat? Now, you just dug yourself a hole. Now you're going to learn how to captain that boat. I've let you drive it a few times, but there's a lot of stuff we need to go over.
We were having some hiccups with the engine. That was a big part of it, was having a few little hiccups with the engine.
You know what I've learned about that particular boat? I don't think it matters what engine I have on it. There's going to be hiccups with it. I don't know what it is, but it's been giving me trouble for a while. And I've just accepted it. There's going to be problems.
Yeah, it's not big ones. I called it a hiccup for just that reason. It's like the engine likes to just hiccup sometimes and not want to do what it's supposed to.
Jeff, I don't know what a Gibbs rule is, but I see you said it means to always have a knife. Is there some story in Australia about a gentleman named Gibbs that required you? I don't know. Tell me. I'm curious. Call in if you want to.
Is that an NCIS thing, like Gibbs from NCIS?
I don't watch NCIS.
My dad loves that one. I grew up watching that one.
Is that one of those cop shows?
The military ones, yeah. My dad.
Oh, that's right. Naval Criminal Investigative Services.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad. Way back in the day, we grew up on JAG, and then JAG stopped airing, so we switched to NCIS.
There was a girl that I knew in the Navy. Her name was Cirrus or something, and that was all she did was watch JAG. We got a customer. We got a call in
Awesome.
Guest.
$2,000 on.
Good evening and welcome to Texas Wild with Ryan Prigmore and Diana Jurek. Who do we have?
What's going on, Ryan? It's Randy.
Randy, my mountain climbing buddy. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. We're having a great show. We've had a great week. And it just, things couldn't be better right now. It's the middle of summer, so business is picked up, personalities are picked up. I love summer. Summer's my favorite time of year. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing great. Just got back from a trip out from Washington State, doing some camping and backpacking for a week. And
Yeah?
I feel nice and refreshed and ready to go for a couple more weeks.
It's amazing how the psychological aspect of adventure has a way of washing out the cobwebs, doesn't it?
It does. And, you're out in a place where the theme show, theme of your show, no cell phone signal, no nothing out there, just you and nature and nothing better.
It's the thrill and the excitement that come with new experiences that trigger the release of dopamine, isn't it?
It is.
I would much rather replace my cell phone with
with
free flowing dopamine any day of the week. Come on, hit me with it.
Yeah, it's you're talking what is adventure, and it's different from anybody. You got your buddy here, Junior, next to you, getting his first dives and getting his open water certification. That's pure adventure and adrenaline for him. Someone like you, a 10-foot dive, that's not so much an adventure. It's different for everybody.
Right.
But it's to feel that joy and alive, get your senses awakened, and just be free for a little while.
That's right. In today's fast-paced, technology-driven world, it's easy to fall into routines and comfort zones. But adventure calls to us to break free from these patterns and seek out new experiences. It invites us to rediscover the world with a sense of wonder and curiosity. And as we get older, we seem to lose that sense of wonderment that we're born with,
Oh, definitely. We are.
I think that's true. I don't know if it's a fear of, as you get older, you're afraid, well, what if something happens? What if this? And, like anything else, you have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare your mind. You have to prepare your body. You have to prepare your equipment. It's not something that you can just do, on a whim. You have to prepare for it. And if you do, there's no reason you cannot experience an adventure into your 60s, 70s, 80s. I've met some incredible people out on the trails and elderly people. And
my favorite story about that was that guy you met
on. There's no age limit to adventure.
My favorite story of yours about that was that guy you met on the bicycle.
Yep.
Adventure is not only for the young. Adventure is not only for the young.
No, it's not. It's not. And you know what? Adventure to somebody else might be going for a walk out in the park, or going to the woods and taking a walk or something. And that's fine. It doesn't always have to be, going down a class 5 whitewater rapid or climbing this mountain or doing this. It's whatever adventure is to you, take it and enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can, because it's not going to be there forever.
Perspective really is everything, isn't it?
It is, and it's great to hear other people's what they consider adventure, and and take it for what it is, and congratulate them on their accomplishments and encourage them. A lot of people follow me on Facebook, just because it says that they live vicariously through my trips and my expeditions and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I hope I can encourage them and encourage other people to get out and do some of the things um, that I do, or see the things that I can see.
So tell me about your mountain climbing adventure recently.
Well, it wasn't so much mountain climbing. I
Backpacking.
was just camping and backpacking out in North Cascades National Park. I was out there for 5 days. It was phenomenal. It was June 29th through July 4th. And I tell you, I didn't see more than 2 people on the trails. It is one of the least visited national parks in the United States.
That must have been glorious.
It was phenomenal. And they said it was a light year for snow. They only got 20 feet this year.
Only 20 feet of snow.
Only 20 feet. Yeah, it was a light year. But
That's
you
wild.
hiked over 6,200 feet elevation, and you hit a good 6-7 feet of snow, and you lost all trails and
All
so,
sense of
you be smart
direction.
about yourself. If you don't have snowshoes or communication gear, you turn around. You be smart about it.
Right.
That's the whole thing about going into the backcountry. You go in prepared. You have your 10 essentials. Communication device. Something to keep warm, signaling device. Things like that. But if it doesn't look safe, turn around. There's nothing wrong with it. You can come back another day.
Right. Don't risk your life for it.
No, it's not worth it. It's
So-
not worth it.
What type of emergency beacon do you use? We had Shane Davies. He's a river guide that I hung out with before, and he's been on the show a few times. But he was telling us recently about some of the emergency gear he keeps, and he uses, I think, a Garmin emergency beacon.
Yep, a Garmin InReach Mini 2 are phenomenal. They do great in the backcountry. They do great out. You can be in the middle of the ocean. They work on satellite, and there's other companies that have them also. But Garmin is really the go-to, I think, right now. And you can buy one and then just pay for a month. So I think they cost about $275 for a mini.
Well worth it.
And you buy it outright, and then you can just go ahead and sign up for that 1 month, or whatever you're going to be gone, and activate it for that 1 month, and then turn it back off again.
Right. For the month you need it.
Yep.
So you're not overpaying for a service that you're not using.
Exactly.
My Apple Watch dive computer is much the same way. Are you aware that the Apple Watch Ultra 2 doubles as a dive computer?
No, not when I had one. It did not do that. And again, the watch I had was probably 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty hooked on my Garmin MK2, but they've got the MK3 now, where you can do underwater messaging.
That's
which is
kind of
a
cool.
pretty neat feature.
Oh yeah.
I have the Garmin Phoenix 5 Sapphire, and that's been an absolutely indispensable piece of equipment for me. And I also have the Apple Watch Ultra 2, which doesn't connect to a transmitter, but that's okay. I have a dive computer, a heads-up display for my air pressure. But
Yep.
man, it does compass, it does depth, it does bottom time, it does GPS locating, it does almost everything.
Yeah.
I'm really digging it.
Garmin is really top notch when it comes to everything. Now they're into diving. They got the dive computers. You've got your, like we just talked about, your satellite communication devices. You're running. They've got pods for your shoes that'll actually tell you your stride length and how you land, if you overpronate, underpronate, or neutral. And it's such a great company. I really would love to get sponsored by, like Red Bull or Garmin or something like that. And
That'd be cool.
you see some of these TV shows, and they have normal people on there. It's like, how do I do that? And I've tried to contact them to see if I can get some sponsorship, but I'm still working on it. So maybe one day.
Right on, right on. So I think the last time you called in, I think we had like a minute left, and I asked you about DB Cooper. Do you remember that?
About DB Cooper. Yep. We're talking about him. Yeah, because you had a pilot on.
Yeah, Doug, one of our customers and one of our good friends. So tell me a little bit. What do you think, since you just came back from Catskill? Or not Cat? Was it Catskill?
No,
That's-
Catskills are down south. That's North Cascades.
No, North Cascades. Thank you. Was that anywhere near where he was supposed to have jumped or landed?
I am not 100% sure. I thought it was in Washington, and there's some barren area. I was up by the Canadian border there, and
Oh yeah,
I mean,
don't you know?
you can go for a long time and not see anybody in the backcountry. So it wouldn't surprise me.
So what do you think happened with him? Do you think he escaped with the money and lived out the rest of his days, or?
I think he got it and is gone. I think he was successful, if you ask me. But maybe that's the romantic in me, hoping, kind of hoping he got away with it just because it is so outlandish.
Right.
But yeah, I think he got away with it, just like the guys who escaped from Alcatraz, that they didn't think it happened for. You find out 40 years later that they really did escape. So
there was an update about that one recently. Did you hear?
No.
Yes.
You heard about the update?
Wait, I don't know about the update. I know they found somebody sent a letter in saying that, with pictures saying they did escape, but I'm not sure if I heard anything after that.
The one I'm referring to, I forget the gentleman's name who sent the letter, but he sent a letter to the federal government, and he said, my name is so-and-so, and I was one of the people who escaped in that homemade raft from Alcatraz, and I now suffer from cancer. And if I can get government health care to help me with this, I will tell you everything. And I guess since it never blew up and became a news story, nothing ever came of it. But I mean, it would be, I would like to hear the story just to see if it's the real guy or not, just to see if he knows, details that weren't released to the public, etc. I want to find out what really happened.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised it did not blow up in the media.
Right? It should have. Next week, I'll tell you what. Next week when I come back, I'll have my research done about it, and I'll bring you what I find. And I'm also going to do a little bit more about DB Cooper too, because ever since I was a kid, I've been fascinated with Dan Cooper. I mean, just the audacity that it takes to go onto a plane with a supposed bomb. Not that I would ever do this, but to go onto a plane with a supposed bomb, pass a lady a note and say, this is what I want, and this is what you're going to do, and to get away with it. Dude, that's an adventure right there.
That is definitely an adventure. That is an adventure in itself.
All right, so I'm going to start winding this down a little bit. Maybe you can comment on my closing statement, if you will. In conclusion, adventure is a state of mind as much as it is a physical journey. It's about embracing the unknown and seeking out new experiences and allowing ourselves to be transformed by the journey. It's a reminder that life is rich with possibilities and that every day holds the potential for discovery and growth. What do you think about that? Let me have some commentary on this. How were you enriched by your trip to the Cascades, Randy?
You know what? There were 2 times when just the beauty of it brought me to tears.
I imagine the stars was one of them.
On this trip, and it's you take it and you don't really realize what is out there and the beauty in nature and how green the lakes and the rivers. And, you know, when there's so many waterfalls, you can't even count them. You keep losing track and you have to start over.
Wow.
That's the beauty of nature. And that right there, to me, is an adventure in itself.
That's incredible. Do you film these trips?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Do you film these trips?
Do I film? I take a lot of videos, or I'm sorry, a lot of pictures. I took like a time lapse of just straight overhead with the trees straight up and the clouds going by for about 2 minutes. And I'll sit there and I'll just watch that when I need to decompress. And it just takes me back to that spot there, and you just relax and remember all those feelings coming back to you, and it helps you decompress from a bad day.
I would imagine it helps you decompress from any situation. And I'm jealous of you to a degree. I mean, granted, I get to have my own adventures too, but oh man, there are certain places, and they're few and far between, where there are stars from horizon to horizon.
Yes.
And that's my all-time favorite, when you can see the Milky Way. That's
the most beautiful place I've ever been to is up in the Apostle Islands during the Perseides meteor shower. And
where are the Apollo Islands?
It was like a fireworks show. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I haven't seen anything yet that compares to it.
Where are those islands?
Those are up in I think the UP, the Apostle Islands.
The UP up in Michigan?
Yeah, that's the UP, Michigan. Yeah.
I was there in January. I think I told you about it when we met.
Yep.
I've never heard of the Apostle Islands.
Yeah, if you can get up there during the meteor shower, and even you see the northern lights up there, and just incredible, and something I wish everybody could experience.
I got to see the Perseids once on a back road out in New Mexico, just literally in the middle of nowhere. And it was a completely circumstance that wound me up there. And I'm telling you, there must have been 200 an hour. And I've never seen that again ever since then.
But you experienced it, and
yes,
that's all that counts.
It was breathtaking. It was incredible. You couldn't watch the entire track of one of them without seeing 5 more. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Good for you. I'm glad somebody else gets to experience these things, and that's encourage people to get out and search these things out. Find your own adventure.
That's exactly what this show is about. Put your phone down, put your tablet down, turn off the TV, get off your computer. There is adventure just on the other side of your front door.
I wish I could share on your website or something some of the pictures that I took or places that I go to, like I say, to help encourage people. Just show them what's out there, what's available to them, and hopefully get them to take that first step. All it takes is one step.
You follow my Blue Diver page, right?
I do, yes, sir.
Go post them on my Blue Diver page. We're thankful for every interaction we have with followers, fans, customers, call-in guests, whatever. Go post them on my page, and I'll share the hell out of them.
You got it.
Thank you for joining me on this exploration of adventure. I hope today's episode has inspired you and everyone out there listening to seek out your own adventures, big or small. Remember, the world is full of wonders waiting to be discovered, and the greatest adventure is the one that lies ahead. We appreciate you calling in, Randy. We're going to wind the show down, and feel free to call in every Thursday. We love talking to you. My listeners love hearing your stories. And next week, I want to ask you about strange lights that you might have seen in the sky on some of your adventures. I like talking about UFOs.
All right, sounds good, Ryan.
Man, I'm looking forward to it. We'll talk to you next week, Randy.
All right, thank you so much. You have a great week and dive safe.
You too, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dan Carlberg, thank you for the like. Thank you for the follow. Tune in next week, and we'll do this all over again, and I can't wait. Y'all take care.
Good night.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.